Hey, Travis.
Hey, Laura, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Welcome, everyone. Blake, great to see you. Leighton, I will let you take over.
To the weather studio tomorrow. So we're going to have the very latest in all
All
of
right. So Leighton is the co-host.
hopefully you
You have everything you need, Leighton?
Yes, yes, we're good.
Okay, good. And let's just mute everyone. Yep. All right. I'll let you take care of that. Awesome. Great. Welcome, everyone. So we're good. We're recording. Let me see here. I'm going to share my screen and we're all going to go ahead and get started. So welcome everyone. To the presentation. And let me just pull up my slides here. Okay, super. Everyone can see my screen? Hopefully. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Happy Monday, by the way, of this fun Thanksgiving week. So, how to build an AI-proof practice in 2025. Thank you all for being here. We're just going to go ahead and get right into the content. So, welcome. If you are a lawyer concerned about the AI revolution, you're definitely in the right place. If you want to, what we're calling AI-proof your estate planning practice, you are in the right place. If you want to become what we're calling an AI-enhanced lawyer, you're in the right place, and I'm going to recommend that all of you do that. If you're looking for a high-pressure sales pitch, you're in the wrong place. We're not going to be selling anything today, and when we do sell, there's no high-pressure tactics. So if any of this sounds like you are in the right place, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So just a couple of notes here. We've got the chat open, I believe. We've got the queue, I guess just the chat. So if people have questions as I'm going through this, just drop them in the chat and we'll address them at the end if we have time. So this is what you're gonna learn today. We'll be talking about the impending AI disruption that has already started and it's only going to increase, right? It's only going to speed up in time. So I'm really going to be sharing with you today two ways that I think that you can combat the AI revolution in your law practice. And these are two things that I'm doing now in my own estate planning practice, and I'll be implementing in 2025 in my own estate planning practice. And that is number one, how to leverage your unique human advantage to AI proof your law practice. That's number one. And we're also going to be talking about the flip side of that. And the flip side of that is how do you get ahead by integrating AI into your practice? So it's kind of a counterintuitive. It might sound a little bit counterintuitive to both try to leverage AI while also trying to beat AI, but that's what we're going to have to do. And we'll be sharing what we think are your what you should be doing in 2025 and going forward to make sure that your law practice is AI proof. So this is the bad news. And I'm in the same boat as everybody on this call, by the way. I'm a practicing estate planning attorney, and I too am nervous about the things that we hear and that we're hearing online, right? So as a practicing estate planning attorney, I have these same concerns. AI is there, it's out there, and we're afraid it's going to potentially put us out of business, or it's going to navigate or change the landscape in such a way that it just makes it harder for us to get business, to make a living, right? This is something that's definitely scary. So I'm concerned as well. AI is already capable of drafting basic wills, basic, I guess, basic trusts, basic healthcare proxies, right? They're already, it's already capable of doing some of the things that we're already doing in our practice. What's going to happen when it gets better at drafting more complicated wills, more complicated trusts, other estate planning documents with really great accuracy and in a fraction of the time that it takes us to do it. The concern that we all have is that our clients are going to opt out of working with us and opt into working with AI, believing that they're going to get the same quality for a lower cost. AI is already offering legal guidance. I say guidance because it's not really advice, right? It's just guidance, but you're now able to go online and get personalized real-time legal information. And so clients, the fear here is that clients are going to start relying on this again instead of relying on attorneys. And then third, and these are just three of the many problems that we have to contend with. AI is making it easier. It's starting to integrate, and different platforms are starting to integrate AI with financial planning tools and estate planning tools, kind of combining the two, offering, wealth management and estate planning in one big platform. And I know that this is something that a lot of us are concerned about. I've seen a lot of the comments and whatnot on Facebook, and people are really concerned about, my financial advisor is now doing estate planning. How am I going to, deal with this? It's just another battle that we feel like we have to deal with. So this is a short list. It could be a lot longer. I know that everyone on this call is concerned about the things that we just mentioned. I'm concerned about these things. The bad news doesn't just stop there. So AI isn't your only problem. Okay. The second problem is other lawyers who are implementing AI at a speed that is going to, move them ahead really fast. Okay, so what about other estate planning lawyers that are using AI in their practice? I call these AI enhanced lawyers. Okay, I just made that up. I don't know if it, where it comes from, but it's an AI enhanced lawyer. This is a lawyer who's going to be relying on AI to do things like create and test content. Using AI for email marketing, social media posts, client presentations, all the things that it used to take us a long time to do. Well, now AI is doing it way faster. So you need to be thinking about, even if you don't want to use these AI tools in your own law firm, okay, but the guy down the street might be. And that guy's going to pull ahead faster. Okay, so this is another concern that we have. AI enhanced lawyers aren't going to be wasting their time on email. They're not going to be wasting it on presentations. They're going to be spending their time in what we call our zone of genius. And for an estate planning attorney, your zone of genius is generating revenue, building relationships, doing the things that are all important human things that AI can't do. And you're not going to be able to focus on those things if you're wasting your time off to the side doing things that an AI-enabled lawyer is having done, way faster. So really the point here is that we've got two opponents, if we're thinking of it this way, right? We've got to contend with AI, and we've also got to contend with lawyers that are way ahead of the pack, who are probably going to leave us behind if we can't keep up. All right. So that's the bad news. This is the good news. There's no reason that everyone on this call cannot be an AI enhanced attorney building out an AI proof practice. All right, this is a possibility. This is what I'm building now in my own New York City estate planning firm. So the idea here is to beat the competition, beat other lawyers by using AI where it makes sense, and then building an AI proof practice by leaning on your human connection. And we're going to talk more about this as we go through. But this is your goal. This should be the goal for all of you today. We're going to talk a little bit more about what that looks like and what it means and how you can start implementing these things. So if you are new to my community, my name is Laura Cowan. I'm a practicing estate planning attorney. And I'm based in New York City, and I've been doing this almost 10 years now. So I launched my law practice in 2016, and we've sold over $2 million in estate planning services, a lot of revocable living trusts, a lot of wills. We've got a perfect 5-star rating, etc. So just a reminder to everyone on the call today, I'm implementing what I'm talking about today in my own practice. And I'm going to be implementing it in my practice going forward as a way to combat AI. And everything that I'm teaching, I'm going to be sharing with all of you, and hopefully you can implement it in your practice as well. I'm also the founder of 2-Hour Lifestyle Lawyer, for those of you who don't know. This is a course that I teach lawyers on how to build and scale a 6-figure estate planning practice that can be run from anywhere. So this is our community. We offer what I call the 4 C's. We've got coaching, we've got courses, we've got community, and the 4th C is the new one, connections. And connections is really important, and that's why I've got this screenshot from our Halloween bash. So we teach this framework in 2-Hour Lifestyle Lawyer, and it's a really, really great community that I'm very, very proud to be a part of. All right, so let's start by defining exactly what an AI-proof practice is. I think it's important to define this, by the way, because there's all of this vagueness, going around. So let's define. What I think an AI-proof practice is a profitable estate planning practice that's going to support you and your family for the foreseeable future, no matter how quickly AI advances or our competitors adopt AI. And I think that this is a really good definition, and it's important to have the definition because we don't know what's going to happen in the future. Nobody knows, right? This is my take. This is what I think. This is what I plan on doing in my firm. But I think if we can have an AI-proof practice, profitable, it's going to support you and your family for as long as we can really project that, no matter what's happening with AI technology and our competitors, et cetera. That's what the definition is here. So this doesn't mean that you're not going to have AI in your practice. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be using AI in your practice, right? What it means is that we're going to be teaching you how to combine both AI in your practice plus the human elements in a way that's going to allow you to achieve your goals. Wealth, impact, legacy, whatever your goals are, this is an AI practice. Okay, and by the way, profitable doesn't mean you're bringing in a boatload of revenue. Profitable means you're bringing in more revenue than your expenses, and you're not doing it in a way that it's eating up all of your time. So that's profit. This is my definition of an AI-proof practice. This is the practice that I would like to have. There's no guarantees, but I'm going to feel pretty comfortable if I have what's on the screen here. And so that's what I'm working on in my own firm. So we've all seen the headlines. There's a billion of them, right? How do you even pick? We've got Sam Altman from OpenAI. Super intelligent AI could be just a few thousand days away, a few thousand days. That's not very long, all right? Satya from Microsoft. AI is one of the most transformative technologies of our time. The potential to augment human capabilities, drive efficiencies, unlock unprecedented opportunities across diverse industries. This is scary. This is scary to hear all of this when we think about, well, how is this going to impact my ability to make a living? Forbes, AI is going to replace full-time careers for some employees. Okay. These are 3 headlines out of 18 million. It's definitely a little bit intimidating. There's a lot of talk about how AI has passed the bar exam, passed various medical tests, how AI has, was out there winning math competitions, right? It's a little bit scary. And I feel the same fear that all of you feel when I read these headlines. So that's kind of where we are. But I think it's important to accept AI is here. It's a thing. It's not going anywhere, right? So what's next? We know that that's the case. All right. So what's next? So let's start by focusing on the things that we know AI is good at, and then some of its limitations. We know it can process data with lightning speed. We've all been playing around with ChatGPT, right? So we know it's really good at that. We're never going to beat it at that. It's really great at analyzing patterns, so suggesting solutions, automating repetitive tasks that reduce human error. So for example, an AI might identify a missing clause in a will, or it might suggest tax saving strategies based on financial data that you give it. Okay, so that's great. These are things that we can't do very well, but it does have some limitations. And we all know what the limitations are, and we're going to talk about these limitations because to the extent that we can leverage things that we know we're better at than AI, that's going to be the key. The limitations, there's no emotional intelligence. It doesn't empathize with a grieving widow. It doesn't reassure parents what's going to happen with their 19-year-old son who's now off at college. I say this quickly, do not underestimate this, you guys. This is going to be our saving grace, all right? Being able to empathize with a widow or reassure parents about their children's future. AI doesn't have contextual understanding. It relies on the data that's input. It doesn't really grasp the complexities of family or financial situations. Okay, so there's no contextual understanding with AI. And there's no human touch, all right? We're going to get into this a little bit later in a lot of detail, but people value feeling heard and understood, and that is not going to change anytime soon. Okay, that is not going to change anytime soon, and in my opinion, is going to increase in importance as we continue to be these isolated bubbles, you know, floating around with like a zero in contact, right? So this is where we are. The next question is, how do we take where we are and use it to create the future that we want for ourselves and our practice? Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about next. I haven't stopped to see, are there any questions or comments, Leighton? Just interrupt me if something pops up that you think I should mention. Okay. Couple of things. How do we fight AI? We know AI is a competitor in some way, right? To the extent that the community is out there thinking, can't I just do this on ChatGPT? Now, we all know the answer is no, but there's a bunch of people out there who think the answer is yes. So that's a problem. We've got to combat that. Well, how do we do it, right? How do we actually fight it? Let's get down to brass tacks. Ironically, one of the ways to fight AI is with AI. And I've got a really good analogy here, a really good example of this. Terminator 2. How old am I to even remember this movie? It's like from the 90s, I think. Very quick summary. In the film, there's this AI Skynet thing that sends a Terminator, which is a highly advanced machine, back in time to 1995 to kill the future leader of human resistance, John Connor, when he's a child. All right, so you've got the Terminator coming in. The resistance sends back a less advanced reprogrammed Terminator to protect Connor and ensure the future of humanity. In other words, the only way that we were able to fight AI in the movie is with AI. Okay, so that's the first lesson I want you to remember today, is that putting our head in the sand and not knowing what's going on is the worst thing that we can do. Okay, because one of our biggest defenses against AI and making our business AI proof is going to be keeping up with what's happening with AI. Okay, so that's what's going on here. Visually, from a movie perspective, you've got AI versus AI. All right, that's what's going on here. Well, that's not the best option every single time. And for those of you who know me, you know I'm a big Star Wars fan, and this is a great analogy that I'm going to be using throughout the entire presentation. Because having said that, you know, AI versus AI and the Terminator, it really doesn't provide the best outcome when you're just using AI. And this is a good thing. You should all be comforted by this. It doesn't do everything. Okay, so think of estate planning. A will generated by ChatGPT with no human intervention whatsoever is not going to be a good will. It's not going to have a good outcome. Okay, what we need as part of that scenario is a human. We see the best outcomes when we're combining AI plus human. And when I say human, what I really mean is lawyer. So AI plus lawyer. So think of Luke and C-3PO, right? Combine Luke's human everything that he's able to do, his human qualities, with C-3PO's ability to logic and reason, and he knows 6 million languages on top of it, right? Both of these things are needed to defeat the evil empire, by the way. Luke didn't do it alone. He needed help, okay? You should all be happy to hear this, because what this means is that you are now part of what I think is the best case scenario. AI is not the best case scenario, but Luke alone is not either. It's going to be a combination, okay? So for the next 10 years, and this is what experts are saying, I don't know if the experts know, none of us know, but for the next 10 years, I'm going to feel comfortable knowing that the best combination is going to be me using AI in my law practice, but also combining the thing that AI can't do, which is that human connection. Okay, so for the next 10 years, let's focus on that. Working together. Hopefully you all understand my Star Wars analogy. I'm always using those analogies. So let's talk about how we can stay ahead of the game so you're not left behind and you don't go out of business. And let's talk about some ways that that you can do that. So this is all going to be about leveraging your unique human connection that we know is going to be critical for the next 10 years, because we just said in the slide prior, we still need humans. Okay, so how do you leverage that? I'm going to share with you 4 qualities that I'm going to be building out in my own estate planning practice in 2025 that I've already built out because they've mattered up until now, but they're going to matter just as much, if not more, going forward. And those 4 qualities are experience, connection, results, and trust. And I'm going to talk about each one of those, especially as they relate to an estate planning lawyer experience. Okay, so these are all things that I'm using in my own law firm. I want you to think about these things, and as I'm talking about them, think about how much better you are at this than AI. Okay, so let's start with experience. This is a really critical advantage that we have over AI. Experience meaning not just the knowledge. AI has knowledge, it knows things, but it doesn't have the experience that we as estate planning lawyers have dealing with people across hopes, failures, concerns, fears, etc. One of the things that I kind of learned recently, or really sort of sunk in with me recently, is that AI is not omnipotent. It doesn't have every answer for every person for every question. And it kind of seems like it does, right? Because if you plunk in a question, you get so much back that you sort of feel like, wow, this knows everything, but it doesn't. Okay, it might know things, but it hasn't experienced them. Okay, and this is where your human connection your human experience is really going to be an advantage. So let's look into that. You can ask AI, for example, to create a fitness plan for losing weight, right? And it's going to spit out a fitness plan for losing weight based on all the other things that people have written about fitness. Okay, that's information. Great. So you've got that option. I want to lose weight. I'll go to AI. It's going to spit out a plan. That's option number 1. Option number 2 is I can go over here and hire this person, this fitness coach, who has actual experience. They have helped over 100 people, for example, hit their target weight. All right. That's going to be more attractive to a buyer. Okay. So your experience listening, counseling, guiding clients, drafting estate plans, going to court, doing all the different things, that is valuable. Okay, it is valuable that you have that experience, especially when you're comparing it to AI, which doesn't have that experience. It's valuable and it can't be repeated by AI. It can't be done by AI. Okay, so your experiences matter. And I think another way to put this, for those of you who read one of my recent emails, that might have been the email that encouraged all of you to join this call. Good Will Hunting, Matt Damon, right? There's this scene where they're in the park, and we know Matt Damon is this kid who knows everything. He's every book, he knows it. He's got all the knowledge, but he hasn't experienced anything. He hasn't traveled. He hasn't done all the different things that make up, a life. So your experiences matter and they mean something. This is the thing that I really want to get across. They mean something to your clients. Okay. And it may not seem obvious now. They may not be making the connection now that I'm working with someone who's actually experienced all of the things that they're doing for me. But I think that's going to become more and more obvious as time goes on. And it's going to be more obvious that the human experience is really, really critical when it comes to things like estate planning, etc. Now, here's the irony. You can use AI to increase your experience. I'm not going to recommend using AI for all of these 4 pillars that I'll be talking about, but this is one that ironically you can use AI to increase your experience. We know we all need to be out there getting experience as an estate planning attorney and as a human. AI can actually help us with that, right? So integrating AI into your firms, using it to complete tasks that used to take a long time, is actually going to free you up to go do the things that really, really matter and the clients are really willing to pay for. So if you can start to accelerate how quickly you gain experience, the better. Now, I know we've got lawyers on the call who've been doing this for 30 years, and they've got a lot of experience. And we've got lawyers that don't have as much experience because they're new. And my advice to you is to start getting as much real life experience as you can as an estate planning attorney. It's no longer enough to just say, I have the information, because the information is already available for free. It's going to be your experience that sets you apart. So stop selling the information and start selling the outcome. Okay, so that's number 1, your experience. Number 2 is your connection. This is the second human advantage that I want to share with all of you, that humans have that AI does not have. Okay, so connecting with your clients, this is your superpower. And the funny thing is, it's always been our superpower, right? I've got a 5-star practice in New York City, very happy clients, and I know the reason they're happy is because of the connection. Okay, so the more connection you have with your audience, the more AI proof your law firm is going to be. And I'm going to repeat that. And if you didn't write it down the first time, you should write it down now. The more connection you have with your clients, the more AI proof your law firm is going to be. All right, so let's look at connection. Why is this so important? Humans yearn for connection. We all know this. We know this from 5 years of COVID, right? We all know that we yearn for connection. That's just normal. And people buy from sources that they trust and they have a connection with. Okay, so the more connection you have with your audience, the more AI proof your practice is going to be. So what are some of the ways that we can connect? Some of this is obvious, but I'm going to say it anyway. More live content, more videos, more reels, more events, sharing some of your personal life, going behind the scenes. Okay, AI doesn't have a personal life to share with you. They don't have a dog. They don't have kids. They don't have a family. They're not celebrating Halloween. These are the ways that your clients connect with you. Okay, so connection is important, and there's a whole bunch of different ways to build connection as an estate planning attorney. If you're not doing these things now, I would recommend you start. If there's people on the call who aren't hosting workshops, you're missing a major opportunity, not just to get business, but to start building connection in your community. Remember the thing that's going to protect you from AI? Start hosting workshops. All right. Seminars, webinars in your community that talk about estate planning, talk about the benefits, talk about why you want to work with a human and not AI. You're building that connection. Okay. I genuinely believe, by the way, that this tried and true tactic of educating your community with seminars and webinars is going to be the number one. It's the number one way now, in my opinion, and it's going to continue to be the number one way in the future. Touching base, reaching out after the engagement ends, keeping up with your clients, right? Don't just disappear. Staying top of mind, marketing emails, newsletters, things like that. Position yourself as an ongoing resource as the engagement ends and after it ends, so that you'll be top of mind when your client wants to start making changes, and you'll come back. They'll come back to you when they're ready. Yes, Travis, we're going to get to that in a second. Client membership program, that's another one. Okay, so connecting. No. Thank you for the comment, Travis. Connecting, right? Building those relationships. Humans want connection. They're not going to get it with ChatGPT. I don't know how else to say it. So So that's what I'll just leave it at that. Results. This is the second one. This is our third, human superpower that we have. This is something that we have that we can offer that AI cannot offer. And this is another really, really big one. We as estate planning lawyers, we do not create documents, right? We are providing outcomes. I say it over and over and over again. We're not selling documents. We're selling an outcome. We're selling a result. In the AI age, your clients aren't going to just be buying the information. That used to be why people came to us, by the way. They didn't know anything about any of this, and you couldn't get it online. You couldn't get it for anywhere. You had to go to the library, I suppose, if you wanted to read about something. That's how it used to be, like 15 years ago. It wasn't that long ago. Anyway, information now is everywhere, and it's free. Okay? So we can no longer rely on, well, I know more about wills and trusts than you do, because people can go online and read it, right? Now, what can't they do? And we all know the answer to this. You can read about wills and trusts, but can you really implement? Can you really draft the document the way that it needs to be drafted, etc.? And the answer is no. Information in and of itself, you guys, is rarely enough. It's the implementation going forward that people are going to be paying for. All right, AI can't implement. They can't guarantee that the documents are going to be executed properly, that they're going to be drafted with the current laws, that they're going to take into account all of the personal family dynamics. They're not going to be able to unearth all the real concerns that you have that you may not say, to ChatGPT. A plan that works when the family passes away or when you become incapacitated, right? These are the results that we are selling. So the thing I want to make really clear here is that to the extent that you can deliver an outcome, a result for your clients, and that includes peace of mind, you're going to have an AI-proof practice. Now, the question you might all be wondering is, how do I know all of this, how do my clients know it? Well, you're going to educate your community. That's how they're going to know, because they're not going to know this on their own, right? It's your job to tell them. And that's why we promote hosting workshops and webinars and seminars and newsletters and all the other things just to stay in touch, etc. Travis is absolutely right. A maintenance program. Drop it in the chat if you either have a maintenance program or if you want to implement one. I would love to hear about this. Do you either have one or do you want to implement one? Because we're going to be sharing a course on this in 2025. So I'm super excited about it. Okay, good. Travis is launching. Octavia is implementing. Awesome. How do you ensure results? Well, there's a whole bunch of different ways to do it, but I wanted to give you some, some tangible nuggets that you could take away with you today. A maintenance program is going to be one of the ways that you do that. Staying in touch, a will that you draft and they sign and then 10 years go by is not helpful, right? You want them to sign the will and then you want them to stay in your community so that you can continue to help them, educate them, provide updates, change their documents when things change. Now you're providing an outcome that there's no way AI can do that. AI is going to spit out a will and that'll be it. We all know that there's more to it, right? So I'm just looking at the comments here. Veronica wants to implement and was researching. We've got a bunch of other people who want to implement. Scott hasn't signed anyone on yet. Scott, we're going to be working on this next year in the collective. So yeah, this is going to be a big deal. This is a big one. I would recommend all of you look to implement a maintenance program in your practice for 2025. This is going to be key for results, for staying in contact, for building trust, building relationship. It sort of accomplishes all the different things that we want to accomplish. It is hard getting people to sign up, Scott. That's one of the tricks that we'll talk about. Okay, superpower number 4 is trust. And this is the one, I saved this for the last because I believe that this is going to be like the major differentiator in all businesses going forward, not just lawyers, not just estate planning lawyers. I think that this is going to become incredibly important in the future when you take a step back and you address our new reality. And our new reality, whatever opinion you have about it, is that there's a whole bunch of information out there and it's sometimes hard to tell what's real and what's not real. And that's just going to continue. Okay. So that's just the reality. You can read anything you want about estate planning online for free. Again, it didn't used to be like that. You used to have to, I would imagine you would have had to gone to the library. There's no other, way to do it or read a book or something. Well, now it's all online for free, right? So what I think is going to happen going forward is that consumers are going to sort of freak out and they're going to be excited about, oh, you can do this online now and there's a new program or there's a new whatever. And then I think that's going to get really old really fast. I think, and that people are going to start to circle back around to, I just want to speak to a person. That's what I think is going to happen. Okay, so the information is coming out. The next step is going to be, with so much information available for free, it is going to be completely overwhelming. Who here? I'm already overwhelmed. I go onto YouTube and I can't even pick out a movie to watch. You know what I mean? Like I have this conversation with Leighton a lot, actually. I can't even pick something to watch on TV. There's too many options these days. Okay, so I think what's going to happen is that I think people are going to get tired of having so much information available and they're just going to want to go to someone they can trust. Solo estate planning lawyers, we are the face of our business. So a little aside here, if you're thinking about things like, audio and video and how we can kind of, fake our own image and all the different things, I would recommend not doing that. The one thing you don't want to lose with your audience is trust. You want them knowing that they can trust you. Because eventually I think they're going to get tired of trying to piece everything together themselves based on what's on the internet. Okay. So it seems cool now being able to find all this information, but I think eventually there's just going to be a lot of overwhelm. People are going to have too many options and they're going to want to pick up the phone and call you, but they're only going to do that if they've decided that you're trustworthy. So now is the time for you to make it clear and to act and behave, which I know you're all doing, but to act and behave in a way with your law practice that people can trust you. Okay, now you don't need to rely on AI to build trust. Some of these other things I'm talking about, I'm like, AI can actually help you with this. AI can help you with this. This is one of the ones you don't want AI to help you with this, okay? Skip AI for this one. Instead, start to think about anyway, establishing a set of values and rules for your firm on how you plan on using AI in your practice. And then being transparent about that, right? So you can make it clear, we're never going to use AI generated videos. All of our content is created by us. Start building your brand and your reputation now as being one that's trustworthy, which I know that you're all doing, but let's just all take it into high gear, right? Let's just take that all into high gear, because this is what I plan on relying on when everything gets so overwhelming that people don't know what to do. I want to be there, that someone knows, they know they can trust, they know I'm a person, I'm a human being, and that what they know about me and the personal branding, etc., is going to be very important. I'll make a little side note about that. Octavia has mentioned personal branding is important, not the law firm name. That's exactly right. And this is something that I hope is comforting to all of you, because we are all trustworthy. We do have a responsibility as an attorney, right? We want to do the right thing and we're doing the right thing. Make that clear. That's what's going to draw people to you. Okay. You can do this at every stage. We've got the consultation, the seminar or webinar before people even meet you. This is a chance to establish trust. The drafting of the documents, all of the meetings that we have, the signing ceremony, staying in touch after the signing ceremony. You can build trust at every step of the process, okay? And that's what I recommend all of you do. This can't be faked. Be genuine, be a good listener, do what you say you're going to do the right thing. You're all doing these things already. Take it up a notch. Okay, because I really think that there's going to come a time where people are like, I want to find a lawyer. I need someone to just tell me what's going on. And you want to be front and center when that happens. Okay, so that's how you build trust. And more than anything, I really think that the trust is going to be extremely important as time goes on. Again, not having any kind of a crystal ball. What else? A couple of other comments before we wrap this up. Number one, I think we need to better accept as a community that not everyone's going to hire us. Which I say with love, because I also get nervous when I see people hiring financial advisors or, using LegalZoom. It's hard. Having said that, even the best estate planning lawyers with the most up-to-date practices and a perfect 5-star rating are going to have some people who say no. There's always going to be some people who prioritize cost over quality. My advice is just to let them. There's plenty of people who want to work with you who are going to continue wanting to work with a lawyer. The other advice I would give here is try not to expend too much emotional energy or time messing with people who want to do it on ChatGPT or whatever. Just accept not everyone's going to hire you, and that's fine. It takes us to point number 2, which is that never forget the power of word of mouth marketing. Okay. If you are doing good work for what the small number of people that are hiring you, however many people are hiring you, they are going to spread the word. And they're not going to spread the word that I'm happy with Laura because she drafted this really great rule against perpetuities clause. They're going to spread the word. She listened. She understood my concerns. She made me feel better, right? That's going to be what has people hiring you. And then number 2, what makes your clients raving fans. Okay. So don't forget about word of mouth marketing. You do the good work for the people who do hire you. And eventually that's going to get around. Final point here, not everybody wants AI. This is my final comment. I get that this is a scary time. I want you all to remember, I'm a top-ranked estate planning attorney, based in New York. I have done this for hundreds of clients. And even before AI came along, we did have to worry about LegalZoom, right? We've had some other problems before. But I'm not really worried about it because what I know for the 400 estate plans that I've done and the 400 signing ceremonies that I've hosted and the 400 hugs that I've gotten at the end of those signing ceremonies is that people aren't hiring you for the things that AI can do. Okay, they're hiring you for peace of mind. They're hiring you because you make them feel heard and understood. The plan is tailored to their needs, because they want a relationship, and the more they get into that and get into your world, the more they're going to see it's valuable. So AI is transforming the legal industry. It's transforming the world. But I hope that you all take some comfort from this, knowing that it's not going to replace the most important thing. Again, no one's hugging me at signing ceremonies because of something that AI did. They're hugging me at signing ceremonies because of the result, the connection, the experience, the trust. Okay, those are the things that we have that AI can't take away. And this is your summary. This is your summary here. If you remember 2 things from this call, these are the 2 things I want you to remember. The goal for all of us is to be an AI enhanced lawyer. That means you use AI in your practice to do the stuff that it can do really fast, and let it do it well. Don't be the lawyer who's not using AI, who's now getting trampled on by all the lawyers down the street who are. You're going to get left behind. Okay. You're going to get left behind, number 1. And number 2, you're not going to have the time to do the things that are really important, which is AI proofing your practice. So that's the second thing. AI proof your practice. And this is possible by offering what AI cannot offer: connection, results, experience, trust. Okay. Now you're unstoppable. You've beat the lawyer down the street because you're using AI and you're not sticking your head in the sand and trying to pretend it's not all happening. And now you've got an efficient, streamlined law practice. Great. And number 2, you've beat AI, because AI is never going to be able to do the things that you can't do. Okay. This is the solution. Any questions or comments about that, drop them in the chat. I want you to start thinking of yourself as like Luke and C-3PO, right? This is the best analogy. You need Luke and all the things that he can do, but you also need C3PO and all the things that he can do. Okay. Last slide. I will give you all an opportunity. We do have a course that we teach. Take a look at the QR code. We're enrolling now for winter, and I won't mention anything about it on the call, but you can book a call using this QR code. I think we've got 17 spots left in our cohort of 30. So take a look at that, book an upcoming call, and we'll share all of the details and everything else with you. Or just send me an email if you have questions, and I'm happy to chat about that as well. So let me stop talking and let me go through the comments. Does anyone want to unmute themselves and share their thoughts or concerns about any of this with the group? Travis, you're launching your client membership in January?
Yes, we are doing it, and I took your advice from the coaching earlier this year, and I've just been mentioning it in each time I'm with clients, saying we'll talk more about that soon or after the signing ceremony. But I forgot in the Peace of Mind planning session last week, and the follow-up email I got from this potential client said, "Well, what happens if I have changes?" I said, "Is that?" He said, "Is that just something we can do on an hourly basis?" I said, "I'm sure that's an option, but we're actually getting ready for to launch our client membership program, which will provide that and more. So we'll talk more about that in January." So yeah, start mentioning that, and then it doesn't feel like you're just hitting them with a credit card form when you finally do launch it. And you can tease it now, even if you are at square one and won't be doing anything till next summer.
That's exactly right. Yep, we're building out a course on this right now. A client membership program is, for those of you who don't know, it's simply something after someone has signed their estate plan, for a relatively low annual fee, maybe 400 to 1,500 a year, something like that. They join your membership where they get all of these added benefits, including updates and things like that. The hard part about these maintenance programs is selling them, right? It's selling them because people come to estate planning thinking it's just something they just do once and then never have to think about again. So you're right, what Travis said, the timing is important. You want to start teeing this up soon so that people start to hear about it. And then when you mention it, they're actually already kind of excited. They're excited to join. Glenessa, it's so good to see you, by the way. I see your hand is raised. What is your question?
So I understand the use of utilizing AI within your practice. So, and this may be more of an ethical type of thing, and it may have to go back to my bar. I totally understand that. But if you're utilizing AI within your practice, do you generally disclose this to your clients? And if so, in what way? What would be your best practices, your thought of your best practices disclosing to your clients that you utilize AI in order to help supplement the documents you're giving them at the end of your engagement?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I'll give you my answer, which is that I'm only using AI in my practice for marketing. I don't actually use it for anything else because as an estate planning attorney, that's kind of what makes sense. I know litigators and other lawyers are using it for a whole bunch of different things. I only use it for for marketing. So this is interesting. Leighton said other countries are requiring business owners to add a short disclaimer that the material they created is created in part by AI. So that's interesting. Yeah, so that might be something that we all have to start doing. If you've got, an ad or ad copy or whatever, that the material was created by AI. But what I would say for estate planning is use it for marketing, use it to help you generate, client emails and things like that. And I don't use it in any other capacity.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's evolving. It's evolving, right? We're all kind of figuring out. But that kind of goes back to the trust thing. One of the things is, in addition to saying this is what I'm using AI for, you can also make it clear what you're not using it for. Right? So if you've got videos and you're on YouTube and you've got your YouTube channel and all the stuff, you maybe make it clear. I don't use AI generated video. This is actually me. You know what I mean? That might be something that we're going to have to start doing. Any other questions? All righty. Oh, go ahead,
I
Travis.
just have a quick I've been driving around meeting clients all over the state actually, so I've had a lot of time in the car and I've been listening to a couple different podcasts on about AI and OpenAI, which developed ChatGPT, just 2 weeks ago announced it's preparing to launch Operator, which is going to be this autonomous AI agent, which I've been learning all about. In January, it's going to be able to do a lot of complex tasks. It's really supposed to take everything to the next level. So I just typed into ChatGPT how could estate planning attorneys like us use OpenAI AI Operator, and it said that we should all just quit and give up. No, just kidding. It said so. I copied the response into a Google Doc, and I'll post the link here. But it aligns with a lot of the stuff with what Laura said, and I think it's exciting, and I agree with Laura that now's the time to do it, and it really is what you've always been saying, that for the folks that are going to say, oh, I could do all this through OpenAI. Those are the same people that would say that same thing about LegalZoom and say it's apples and oranges. That's not what we're selling here. This is something totally different. So I think it's really got a lot of neat use coming up. And I think there's going to be a learning curve, but you can actually type in to ChatGPT, tell me more about it, teach me from step one, and like I'm a fifth grader, and so it's amazing. Thank you for sharing this, and I'm excited for what's to come.
I'm excited for what's to come too, and it is sort of a weird, like we're gonna need it. We're gonna need it going forward. We're gonna need to know how to use it, right? But then on the other hand, we're also gonna have to dig in deep to our human connection. So it's kind of a weird combination of stuff, but I think that's gonna be the winning combo. Gwen, it's good to see you. Veronica, good to see you. Octavia, thank you all for being here and showing your cameras. Do you guys have any questions?
No, it's a good presentation. Thanks.
Veronica, what about you?
Yes, I first of all, I'm glad you offered this. It was something that was not on my radar, but when I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to go. Because I'm the type of person who had my head in the sand for a while and didn't want to like even look at AI. And now I use ChatGPT for fun and some useful tasks. But I guess one thing that I thought was interesting that you said was that one, we need to start using AI to support us so that we're not being left behind by the lawyer down the street. But then I also heard you say that you currently only use it for marketing and like the emails. And so I was wondering, either one, are there other things that you might suggest that we would consider using AI for to increase to like help us to be more competitive? But then also, I guess I was wondering why you don't use it for other things to be more competitive with the others.
Yeah, that was a somewhat short list. You know what I think I want to do is for part two is to have another call and to share with you all the tools that I am using in my estate planning practice. To kind of get caught up. So Leighton, we'll make that another presentation, Veronica. So I'll come back to you with maybe my 4 or 5 of my top tools that I'm using. Would that be helpful?
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah. And part of the reason that I can't really answer that as well is, I know that litigators are really using it for a lot legal research and, a lot of different things. I'm not using it on the law side at all. It's more like, intake and marketing and things like that. So that'll be another presentation that we can do to share some of the tools that I like. All righty. Thank you everyone for joining. I think we're going to send a replay if we have this. And if anyone is on the call who's not a part of our community, definitely consider joining one of our upcoming discovery calls. Like I said, we've got a cohort starting in January and we still have 17 spots left as of today. So we'd love to hear from you in that capacity. And otherwise, everyone enjoy your Thanksgiving week. I appreciate your coming. Bye.
Happy Thanksgiving. Bye.
Happy Thanksgiving.